All right, guys, welcome back to the Smile Theory podcast. I have another really good friend of mine, Dr. Natalia Karmo.
Hello.
Dental, West Bloomfield. Hey, Nat. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. I'm happy you're here. I feel like I introduce everybody as my really good friend, but you guys really are my really good friends. But you and I don't even know when I met you. Like, we grew up together.
I met you, I want to say I was in high school. I was working with Randy.
With Randy.
Yeah, I was working with Randy.
So we've known each other for a very long
time when you used to make business cards.
Yeah. And you've, trusted me and hired me, with your content, which we'll get into. So thank you for that.
For sure.
Let's dive right in because there's something that's been on my mind. It's something you posted, actually.
I'm scared.
You posted something the other day on your, I think it was on your story, and you said something along the lines of, if you could go back and do it all again, you wouldn't. Right. And I've been thinking about it ever since you said that, because I actually respect that you said that, because I get it. I know what made you feel that way. It's not like I'm not proud of what I did.
For sure.
But it's like, we were kids when we started this, right? And then you get married, you have a family, your priorities change.
Yes.
And it's always, if you want one thing, you have to give up something else, right? It's always that balance.
I agree. So thinking back to that point in my life, what was I, in my 20s, right?
Yeah.
I wasn't thinking about getting married or having kids or how working as much as I do would alter my lifestyle.
Right.
I was told, oh, it's just a loan. You're going to pay it off. It's not a big deal. You're going to have the most flexible schedule. I know so-and-so that drives this car, that lives in that house, and they're a dentist and they barely work. And I was like, sold this dream, so to speak. And that may have been the case and it may have been true, but what they didn't take into account, which nobody sees, is the hard work,
right,
the sweat, the tears that went in behind all of that, right?
Yeah.
And as a mother, people ask me all the time, like, how do you do it?
Right.
Everybody can figure it out. It's not that difficult to figure out,
Sure.
but you've got to sacrifice something along the way. And the only thing is, I just wish I could maybe step away for a little while my kids are growing and then step back in, but it's not that type of profession. You can't, it's not, it is like riding a bike to some extent, but you do need to develop these skills and you need to, in order for you to grow clinically, you need to see things, and in order for you to see things, you need to be there.
Right.
So it's all, I feel like I'm on a hamster wheel and I'm constantly going. So for that, as a mother today, I don't know if it was the right decision. Now, I can't speak for myself 5-10 years from now.
Right.
That maybe you and I can sit back down and say, was that the right choice? Would you, now in my life in 5 or 10 years, if you could go back, would you do it again?
Right.
I might say, yeah.
Right.
I just don't know.
You see, I think a lot of people out of context would think that that's a negative thing that you said. For me, I completely get it. There's nothing negative about it.
No,
right?
I love what I do. By the way, I did it at first, and I've talked and I've shared my story on my social media before. When I first started, I was like, I felt like I was slapped in the face. I left dental school. I loved dental school. I was a president of my class. I thoroughly enjoyed learning and working with patients. And then I graduated and real life hit. And like I said, I was shocked. I just didn't, I wasn't happy. I was very unhappy for a very long time.
Yeah.
I didn't get that flexibility until I bought my own practice.
Right.
But in that comes a lot more responsibility. So
a lot more risk.
Yeah. A lot more reward.
Right.
I would say less flexibility because I have to be there. I can't just walk away. I can't say, I'm taking a day off. The owner's got to deal with it.
Right.
It's me.
Exactly.
So
you're sick.
Too bad.
Numbers don't move.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean?
And I didn't know that about dentistry when but even before I graduated, I did not know that dentistry was a commission-based profession.
Yeah.
I just thought they got a salary.
Right.
And so that was a big slap in the face.
Actually.
Yeah, no, I was shocked. He's
Yeah.
like, what do you mean? I thought we're here to help people.
Right.
I was oblivious.
I think there's a lot of this is not entirely unique to dentistry. I think there's a lot of overlap with entrepreneurship in general, right?
Correct.
But yeah, I come from a different background, right? Mine's an engineering background. And I remember, just like you, I loved school, I loved learning, I loved math. And then, like you said, real life hit. You're not doing any of that, right? I'm pushing paper and managing offshore talent, and I just become a big firefighter.
Yep.
So I slowly, like, that resentment started building.
Oh, for sure.
Now, for me,
sure.
I was, I don't want to say how long have I, it's been a long time
It's
since
a
I've
long
been in
time.
college, you know what I mean?
I don't know.
But I remember, 2010, 2011, sitting in the back of the class, right? The back of calculus, designing postcards for, a party that's coming up this weekend at the club. And so basically it was always there. It was always kind of nagging at me. And then when, excuse
And
my
don't
language.
forget, you went to school for a long time.
Yeah,
So you were in like, I consider myself a forever student.
Yeah.
And that was a big shift to go from school life or
Right.
student life to the real world. And
100%.
and if you do not conform or mold to it somehow, the train's leaving without you.
Right.
So
Exactly.
you just have to figure it out.
And to your point, I'm glad you brought that up, because there was a point, just to show, everyone how long I've been trying to do this. I was going to drop out of Lawrence Tech.
Get out of here.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
It was like my junior year. I was like, I hate this. It's not, I don't know if it was because I wasn't applying myself, because I was being distracted trying to run a print company or whatever I was doing. But, I had a conversation with my parents, and they're just like, you're at the end of it. So I pushed through it because
But I'm glad that you did.
I'm glad that I did too, because I needed that experience. And honestly, like, I think a lot of my style is influenced by that side of my brain, the
For sure.
attention to detail, all that. So I don't regret it, but I basically spent the next 11 years talking about quitting my job.
Wait, I remember one time I was complaining to my husband about it, and he looked at me. He goes, "Natalia, everybody hates their job. Everybody's miserable."
Right.
That's not true.
I know. It's like, no, they're definitely not.
So he kind of was like, "Just suck it up."
Yeah.
But I wasn't happy for a long time. I took a year off after I had my daughter, and that was another thing. So when I had my firstborn, there's no maternity leave in dentistry,
Right.
Especially not paid. I mean, you can take time off,
Sure.
but it was like, how much time do you need? I was back in 4 weeks. That was what my boss was saying at the time. Like,
Right.
you don't need that much time off. And when I had Avery, instead of my friends or family asking like, "Oh, are you okay? Like, how are you doing? You just had a baby." It was, "So when are you going back to work?"
Right.
It was a completely different expectation than what, like, my other friends had, which was, "How are you feeling?
Right.
Or, how are you taking maternity, or how are you having, how are you handling things with the baby?" And that was heartbreaking for me.
Yeah.
I was devastated. And I didn't go back to work for like 10 or 11 months.
Yeah. I mean, listen, you're conditioned to believe that dentistry is a certain thing in school, and then you're conditioned to believe that this is your role as a worker at home.
Agreed.
And you almost feel bad, like, am I doing something wrong?
Yeah.
But I'm a firm believer that, if there's an itch, like, it's gonna come out. Like, believe me, it would have been a lot easier if I quit 15 years ago
Yeah.
than if I quit when I
Do
did.
you wish you quit when you wanted to?
Yes.
Why?
And that's why it goes back to your question. So if you ask me the question, if I could go back, would I do it again? I would. I'd do it differently.
Okay. And
Because
how
the
so?
reason I didn't quit when I originally wanted to, I was comfortable. I was making money, rolling around in BMWs, right? And I was afraid of failing. And I still do, major imposter syndrome. So it was ironically people like you and some of my other friends that, we'd have conversations about this all the time.
Yeah.
You guys had more confidence in my ability than I did.
Yeah.
And if I would have
Well,
done it then, I'd be in a different place now.
I feel like you are where you're at. People like you and I get where we're at because we're so critical of ourselves.
Sure.
That it's a double-edged sword. So although, and I think about this a lot, and I've also had this conversation with Travis where I'm like, I feel like I care too much. And he says to me, well,
do.
that's why you're so good. It's
Right.
because you care so much,
Right. Yeah.
And we nitpick like things that we were just talking earlier and you're like, nitpicking things. And I said, no, I thought it looked great. I thought you did a
Right.
great job.
Right.
But that's what makes you as good as you are. And that's what gives the high end quality that you give to your clientele.
Right.
So I would say, don't change that about you. You may call it imposter syndrome, but I just think that people who have that ability to be super critical of themselves tend to make great things in this world.
I agree. Yeah. I mean, and thank you. Thank you
Of
for
course.
saying that.
No, I mean it though. I really do.
I guess what I'm saying is, if I was able to get out of my own way earlier,
Yeah.
because right now, like, I'm not old, but I'm not young.
You are young.
I'm tired. You know what I
Burnt
mean?
out.
Burnt out.
Right.
Burnout comes in really, really quick.
Mhm.
And if I would have started this path sooner, then the time that these things are happening, my kids, my family, all
So
that.
when you say start things sooner, what are you referring to?
I mean, quitting 10
Okay,
years
quitting.
before I did.
Okay, but quitting 10 years before you did, and then what? This wasn't, or social media wasn't around like it is now. So would you
True.
have? Maybe you would have taken a different path. Maybe you wouldn't be
Maybe.
here at all.
Could be, right?
Yeah, we can be here all day.
Hindsight's
Every-
20/20, and you
Right,
don't
but
know what you don't know.
Every road is paved for you.
Yeah,
At
yeah.
least I believe.
Of course, there's a reason things worked out the way they did. Like, to your point, I was scared to quit when there was not a lot of risk in quitting,
Mhm.
and it kept itching and bothering me, and I'm miserable. The year I quit, I had twins on the way. I just built a
remember.
house.
I
You know what I'm
remember.
saying?
Mm-hmm.
Health insurance, what's that?
I
You
know.
know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, but the point being is, like, I couldn't silence it. So do I regret, like, going for a master in that? No, because that's what gave me the confidence to quit.
For
I
sure.
said, if this doesn't work out, I'll come back and be an engineer again. 6 months in, I said, I will never go back, and I will never, sit behind the desk again.
I don't blame you.
Which is crazy how that works. But it's just like you said, you love the craft of dentistry.
I do.
I love the craft of what I do. I don't love the business side. But I realize that if I want to be more present the way that I want to be, I have to embrace the business side. And that's a struggle, because that involves
Sacrifice.
good enough, right?
Yeah.
Start doing these good enough. Delegate. That's hard for me.
Letting go of control. I think that's really hard for me.
Yeah.
I tend, I don't delegate because I'm like, I'd rather just do it myself. Nobody else can see my vision. And it's so the burnout, it's there.
Yeah, of
I'm
course.
trying to manage my house and my kids and my husband and my business and my staff.
Yeah.
And it just never ends, right? And something's got to give, and
Right.
it's going to be a piece of me. And so
Yeah.
I am trying. I haven't really gotten very far, but I'm trying to delegate. But I do believe that once you have the right people in place and the
Yeah.
trust has been built, the delegation starts to happen on its
Exactly.
own.
I agree
organically.
with you 100%, because there are people that I work with that it's like, I don't have to think twice about it. Like, I know it can be
It's going to get done, and it's going to get done the way you would do it. And that
Exactly.
is, I have this now at the practice. I would say I have a handful of the girls that just really they just take it and
Yeah.
without me saying anything. And
Right.
that's what I love, that initiative that they take off me. And it could be the smallest thing.
Yeah.
Even at home, I know this is going to sound silly, but I came downstairs yesterday and my husband put away all the dishes. And I'm like, oh my God, you did? I
Right.
was like, thank you. You don't know. And I was on top of the world. I was like, thank you. Because that would have
Yeah.
taken a solid 15 minutes. But like
Right.
15 minutes to myself is everything.
Yeah.
So
I agree with you
it's
100%.
little things that really help.
By the way, you kind of caught me off guard. You pushed back a little bit.
Why?
No one's ever pushed back on me. What do you mean? No, I'm not going to agree with what you said. So thank you. I appreciate that.
Of course.
But yeah, I get it, because the unfortunate part is there's a lot of reward in being a business owner. It doesn't turn off.
No,
You know what I
it
mean?
doesn't.
Like,
It
I'm there at night thinking, what needs to happen tomorrow? My mind is always there. This didn't get done. That didn't get done. But it's nice to know that if you have somebody you can fall back on and trust, it doesn't have to be everything.
No, it
know?
is. I mean, yesterday I got a phone call at 3:45 in the morning from a patient.
Wow.
And my husband's like, aren't you annoyed? And I said, no, that's my job. I
Now you're gonna get a bunch of 3:45.
No, don't go.
calls.
No, but it's, again, I think that these little things that you offer to your clients, to my patients, I
Yeah.
think that makes us who we are. It makes us as good as you are, and that's
Right.
that's what makes you desirable. There are so many people, millions of people. There's, hundreds of thousands of dentists. But like,
Right.
how can I set myself apart? And that's what
Right.
I've been working on Honestly, since I graduated,
Yeah.
I've always been like, okay, how can I be different? How can I be different? How can I, okay, how can I set myself apart from Joe Schmo down the street?
Right.
Because there's how many?
But not different for the sake of being different,
No, better,
being better.
being better.
And I think,
What do I want?
I was just going to say that. I'm glad you brought that up because that's what I want to get into, because that's kind of how we started working together. You saw the value in what I did right away, and I think it was the right vehicle to get out the image that you wanted to.
So remember my logo?
Yeah.
Oh man. So just a little bit of background. My husband is also my CPA, and he
So you know
does,
how much money you
yeah, and he knows how much I spend, which is never a good thing. But and I told him, I'm like, nope, I'm gonna go. I want to see Adrian. He has my vision. And I mean, before that, I'm not gonna lie, I went on like Google and chat, GPT, and all that stuff, and it wasn't sticking.
Yeah.
And so he's like, why can't you just go on one of those websites and you can get this for a couple $100
Sure.
or for free? And I said, no. I said, no. And I said, and I remember I called you and I told you, I want in 5 years, when somebody sees my logo, they know exactly who that is. They
Right.
know exactly what my face is. They know I've branded myself
Exactly.
in a way that now you see that NLK.
Right. You know what's
You know
up.
who it is.
You know who it is.
You might
I
hate
am.
it, but
I still love it.
I do too. I get so many compliments on my logo
That's awesome.
all the time. Honestly, you had my vision, and you're the only person I would have trusted with that. And
Thank you.
I'm not trying to like blow smoke up
No,
your
I
ass.
know.
I don't care.
I already knew that anyway. I'm just kidding. But no, like that's kind of like what I'm trying to get at. I'm trying to like articulate my thoughts right now, but I tell people all the time when they come to me for like a brand project or a video or a story, I'm just like, I'm going to be real with you. You might like what I have to say and what I don't like to say if they're a real estate agent or whatever. I'm like, there are a ton of real estate agents that they could use and they're good.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of the reason people are working is because of you, because they like you.
Mm.
Now, that doesn't necessarily mean it has to be you in every single thing, but an extension of you is the culture you built in that office.
Agreed.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
So your staff
Yep.
is pushing you. And that's when I kind of started having like a mindset shift. Like, am I really good behind the camera? Yes. Is my value that I'm the guy pushing the buttons behind the camera? No. My value is that we can have a conversation and I can tell the camera guy what he needs to do.
Yes.
And that's when I
he
started.
can understand
Right.
what you just threw out
Yeah.
and be able to replicate that.
My saying for the longest time is tell people I'm a very expensive videographer, but a very cheap storyteller. You know what I mean? Because if you want to get me behind the camera and tell me what to do.
Here's the thing though. In any business, whether it be real estate, whether it be dentistry, whether it be name it, okay? You've got to be able to tell a story.
Right.
That's how you captivate an audience. When you attach emotion to anything, that's what makes people want to see you. Whether it's buying a home or whether it's coming to see me, they've got to I don't know, clientele. I don't know what to call it. My patients have to resonate with me.
Yeah.
They have to, and some might not. You're not going to win everybody.
Right.
But generally,
That's okay too.
that's okay, and sometimes it's for the better.
Joe, believe me.
Yeah, sometimes it's for the better, and you've got to know. And I think that comes with experience.
It does, because that's one thing that I do wish I learned sooner is the power of no.
Yeah.
I was a people pleaser. I didn't want to let anybody down, but in the end, when you're stretched thin and you're missing deadlines, you're letting people down anyway.
Yeah, agreed. But sometimes their vision is not the same as yours.
Right.
And
it's incompatible.
It's exactly. Yeah. And it doesn't do anybody any favors.
Right.
So
I tell people like, I don't think I'm the right person for this. I can connect you with somebody for it.
I have to. I have people coming to me like, I want these kinds of veneers and I want them to be, toilet bowl white. And I said, I understand where you're coming from. And I love your vision. Unfortunately, I'm not the person for you.
Right.
I can't give you what you're looking for. So, and I got turned away.
You know when I realized it for me, I started having work that I did that I was like, I will not put this in my portfolio.
Oh yeah.
I'll do it, but I won't
show
show it. And I'm like, okay. I think the answer is to stop putting myself in a situation where I'm doing jobs that I don't want to show.
Yeah. I'm with you. I agree.
Yeah. And I think besides just what it's like working with you, I think you had a vision. You did a beautiful build out in the office you acquired. But I think all of it, it makes sense, right? Like a lot of people like to slap the word luxury on things, and then you get there and you're like, there's a mismatch. But I think the message you're pushing when somebody walks in, they feel
But
comfortable.
that
It
message was
matches.
also even at my other office, even as
Agreed.
an associate, I always pushed that same message. I knew who I was and I knew what I wanted to give, like,
Right.
from the get-go. And then once I acquired my own practice, it's like, okay, well, you already you know who you are. You
Yeah.
know how you practice. Now you got to attach an image to it in
Right.
people's mind. And that's where the branding came in. Now, some
Yeah.
people just create a name and that's the name, but I wanted a brand, which is
Right.
completely different. And then, the power of social media. I swear I hate it. Let's start there. Okay. I love what I do. I hate social media. It's
Sure.
so time consuming. It is, you have to have thick skin.
Yeah.
I had somebody tell me to die. I was like, oh my God.
I
It was, when you have, you have to be able to take it because people will throw very nasty things your way. And,
100%.
but it's a form of marketing. It's a
Yeah.
form of art. I like to think of
Right.
it as, right? But,
It is.
it's extremely time consuming. It's a whole nother job. I would say it's a full-time job
It
to
is.
continue. And it's something that I had to do and thank God, like I said, thank God for it because it did help get my image, my
Yeah.
vision, my brand out there to
And
the rest of the world.
I'm glad you said that because I think the reason that a lot of people have an issue with it is because go back 20 years, right? You don't have the option to make a commercial. Like you're hiring an agency, you're
Right.
putting out tens of thousands of dollars. It's just not something your average local entrepreneur did.
No.
Fast forward now, not only do you have to do it, you have to do it yourself
Yeah.
because if you don't, your neighbor's doing it,
Yeah.
right? And we're kind of that transitional group, right? We were born without social media. We grew into it.
Yeah.
There are people that are growing up in it,
Yeah.
and like,
I want to grow out of it, but
sure,
I'm here. So
right.
I don't
But
have a
my
choice.
point being is we're that gap, right? Like our parents don't get it,
No.
we get it, but we're starting to be like, okay, I don't want to get
Yeah.
it. But then you got people
I
that
want to
grew
go
up
back to like, how the world was in
right,
the
like my flip
late
phone with
90s. Yeah, the razor.
yeah, right, the razor.
Fuchsia pink. I remember
Right.
that's what I had.
But then you've got these young kids that are just born into this. This is all they know, and they're doing crazy things. Like,
They are. I
but
would say I don't like the way it's going, but yeah, they are. That's a different conversation. We can
it,
go
it
back and talk
is,
about
yeah.
this.
It's a different conversation. But where I was getting at is not what I like. I don't like the effects of social media, but
Right.
I like what the people who get it, who have a vision, are able to do because of it.
Correct.
You know
You
what I
can
mean?
either use it right now, especially because it's basically free marketing,
Yeah.
especially when marketing is, thousands and thousands of dollars if you wanted to put forth, like you said, a commercial
Right.
or any type of ad. I mean, just to release like the printout flyers in the mail that y'all throw away,
Right.
it's at least $10,000 if you're attacking one city. So,
Yeah.
to think about how much marketing I do for practically free, I
But it's not free. It's costing your time.
right, right,
You
right.
know? Yeah.
Time, for sure. But again, we have a lot of fun. I
It's.
my staff and I have a great time doing it. I
I know.
mean,
I had fun with the staff. They're a good group for
they're a
sure.
great group. They're great. But it's time consuming. It's overwhelming
Yeah.
sometimes. You have to know the right times to post things
Right.
and I do all my editing. I do all of
Yep.
the recording. It's miserable.
Yeah. But
It's on my phone.
you're actually pretty good at it.
Thank you.
You know,
Thank you.
if I
It's
had to say,
pretty amateur if you ask me, but yeah, it's fun. I like
again,
the
that
amateur version of it.
self
Yeah, yeah,
criticism,
no, for sure.
um, but yeah, I mean that's
But it's another now you tackled on another responsibility as a
right,
business owner. So before it was just you walk in, you had to manage your staff, right?
right,
Back then, I mean, think about 20 years ago, dentists really didn't even offer benefits to their staff.
right,
Now we have staff shortages after COVID, which was
yeah,
really difficult at one point. A lot of gouging when it came to rate,
sure,
hourly wages. Lots of benefits because now we're competing against corporate like DSOs,
yeah,
and so now a small it's almost I don't want to say impossible, but it's so difficult to stay afloat when you have all these expenses that like the previous owner never had. She
right,
never had to worry about healthcare for the staff or 401k
yeah,
or making sure the culture is up to par and, going
Right.
on trips with the staff. I mean, nothing.
Right.
Where that's a whole nother set of challenges that I face.
It
Like I said,
is.
she didn't.
Right. But I also think that when done right, it bridges the gap of what was lacking.
Agreed.
You know what I mean? Like,
I agree and I disagree. I think that work ethic has changed amongst individuals
sure.
in comparison to what was 20 years ago. The loyalty is simply not there anymore for most people.
I agree with that.
It's difficult to trust that, all this investment that you're putting into that one person isn't going to leave for the next couple hours, a couple
Right.
dollars more an hour right across the street from you.
Yeah.
Um, but nevertheless, it is I do believe in building a culture. I
Yeah.
do believe in having a positive work environment. So that's what I told the girls when I started. I said, if I'm going to spend more time with you guys than I do my own family, you better believe I'm going to have fun. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not trying to be miserable here.
It's a good way to look at it.
But I said, we have to get our work done. We take care of our patients. They come first, but have a good time because if you're miserable, it shows.
Right.
I don't want the patients who are already
100%.
scared to be here to be miserable because
Of
they
course.
see it on you.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
So that's like my big thing at the practice, at least.
Yeah.
But again,
Absolutely.
building culture is another to tack it on.
So I was just gonna actually say to your point about like, people jumping, right? Like I remember, and this would have been a thing that would have probably maybe never start my company, but I worked for 11 years and the first 8 were with the same person because I'm like, I'm not jumping ship. I'm not doing this. Now the guys that did jump ship, they were making a lot more money than me.
Yeah.
It would have made it a lot harder for me to quit. So I think it worked out the way it needed to.
Yeah.
But point being, like, now that's just the way it is. Like, you
Well,
just do your
everybody-
thing. You skip your way to the top.
Yes. Who's
Um,
going to give you the next best offer?
Right.
That's where you're going to go because we've become a very I want to say self-centered, maybe selfish society. And unfortunately, I don't think that's going to help grow any company because if you think about the groups of individuals who actually work together,
Right.
they succeed.
Yeah.
Think of any group of individuals, I'm sorry. They, when done right, and when everybody's best interests are at heart, they tend to make it further. And that may take a little longer, but
Yeah.
they make it further. Whereas those who are fighting their own battles and think solely of themselves don't generally make it as far. And if they do, they burn out too quick. So is it really enjoyable?
I mean, and that brings up another thing that you're not responsible for, to combat, like, Jane Doe quits, right? And I don't want to be down for weeks. You now have to make systems and processes and make things repeatable. And you're doing a lot of things.
Yeah, that's big. That's one thing we worked on the most, I would say, in the last couple of years.
Yeah.
Creating systems and like
Right.
being able to replicate those systems and being able to train the staff in a more efficient manner because you
Right.
have to.
You're right.
You
Exactly.
can't, 'cause even when it comes to hiring and firing, I do believe in that saying where it's hire slow and fire fast. But that's not practical when you've got patients.
Right.
I gotta get somebody. I gotta get a body in there. You
Right.
know, and then my other staff gets overwhelmed,
Yeah.
and that's not fair.
Right.
And that's where mistakes happen.
Yeah. I agree. I agree with you 100%.
By the way, I love the business side of things. I really do.
I was literally about to say that. You like read my mind. So I was going to tell you that I hate the business side of things.
Really?
Yeah.
I love it's like it's me. I've embraced it. I love it.
So the part for me that I don't want to say struggle with, not so much anymore. And honestly, AI is a whole different animal, but it's helping.
It is.
But it's like, I signed up. I remember like I would like I had talked about quitting to the point where I spoke to my manager. He didn't receive it well, and then I backed it off. And then it was 6 months later that I quit. And I told myself, I was like, you know what? Like, why did I react that way? If I'm gonna if I can match my salary, the equivalent of my monthly salary on the side for 6 months in a row, just moonlighting, I'm gonna quit. And I did.
That's amazing.
And I did just because I decided. Circumstances didn't. I had a number that I was assigned, and I did it. And I thought to myself, like, man, if I can do this, I'm gonna get 4 more days. I'm
Imagine what else
chilling.
you could
You
do.
know?
Yeah.
No. If you have 3 hours to complete a task, you'll take 3 hours.
Yes.
And I found a way to fill those days. And then, the part that you don't think about at all, it's just like, okay, I've got my health insurance, I've got my
I know.
accounting, I've got payroll, I've got all this. And those are the sides that I didn't love because I did it because I enjoyed the art side of it. So what I used to do in the beginning, what I tended to do is like, I would embrace the videos. I'm going to go film a video and neglect my business responsibilities. Now I'm behind. It's just like this vicious circle. So, I mean, to your point, yeah, like I say, I wish I did it sooner because I'm under the assumption that I would have learned it sooner. But the reality is maybe it happened exactly the way it needed to when it needed to.
For sure. I'm a big believer that everything happens for a reason, when
Yeah.
it's supposed to happen, how it's supposed to happen. I think every road is paved for you. You just have to get to that road somehow, some
Right.
way. But for me as an associate, see, I couldn't handle people telling me what to do and how to do my job. I am
Yeah.
a very what's the word I'm looking? I won't say hard headed, but like strong willed. Is that the
Sure. I
right
think
word?
that's a good word.
I again, like, I knew what I wanted, and everything was an obstacle for me. I just had to get every obstacle out of my way, and I
Yeah.
did. I told myself my goals were, I need to buy my own practice within 5 years of graduating.
Yeah.
I bought my practice within 5 years of graduating. I told myself I wanted a fee-for-service practice. I bought a fee-for-service practice. I told myself that this is what I wanted as far as my perception out there,
Yeah.
that's my journey, and I'm on that right now. Um, I learned how to be disciplined when I finally chose to go into dentistry and take the exam, and
Sure.
because it wasn't like people, "Oh, I wanted to do this all my life."
Right.
No, my dad said, you gotta be a doctor, you gotta be a lawyer, you gotta be a dentist, you
The
pick one."
Chaldean way.
Yeah, it was I had no choice. Like, anything other than that, you were a disappointment in this family.
Yeah.
So, I did, and I'm so glad that I actually wanted to drop out of dental school my first year. I was like, I should just went to medical school,
Pattern.
like, yeah. I was like, I don't know why I said no. The reason I actually chose dentistry over medicine is because I wanted to have a family.
Sure.
Isn't that crazy?
Right.
And then here I am, and I'm like, why did I do this? I still get it's so hard.
Yeah.
But again, you do figure it out. Like, I actually have a lot of like students or, new grads that message me and like, how do you manage? And I'm
Right.
like, "Great, you just figure it out."
I think that's my favorite part about all this. It's like when the students, like I had people just see what they see on social media. They make assumptions, right? Oh, he made it. He's doing this, blah blah
Yeah,
blah. They don't know the risk. They don't
they
know the
really
struggle,
don't. They don't know how hard you work to get there.
right? But I've literally had people
Yeah.
messaging me. Little they know I'm sitting there like contemplating, like, do I go back into the field? And they're telling me, you inspired me to quit my job. And I'm like, what? Like, it's wild.
It
You know
is.
what I'm saying? Because I'm just here figuring it out. I wasn't trying to inspire
It
anybody.
is.
But it kind of goes back to that imposter syndrome. Like, I would have told you, oh, there's these big branding agents. They don't know what I'm talking about. And here we are having a conversation
I
about
know.
branding.
I
You know what I mean?
I know how crazy.
And to what you said, see, I was the complete opposite of you. I was passive. I think I kind of had like tunnel vision. Like I was just kind of like, follow the rules, stay in the lane. So I didn't have that vision of like what this could be, what this could be. And then one day, it was actually Randy. Randy would sit down and he would coach me. Shout out to Randy, Sapphire Alex Jones. Um,
He was my first boss too.
yeah. And he told me like, make a vision board, right? And how much money do you want to make? And I would throw these low numbers, right? And he's like, I think you can make way more than that. But long story short is when I put a number to it, don't ask me what it was. Like maybe it's just because you're cognizant of there's a number, so now you can measure yourself
Yeah.
against
Oh,
something.
exactly. You could
But
have some sort of measurement
right,
for
it was
that success,
subconscious,
so to
right?
speak. Yeah.
But point being, I made more money just because I decided to. There was nothing
Agreed.
that changed. It was just I had a number, and like I said, maybe I'm like, all right, I'm not hitting the goal. I need to do this, that, and the other. Whereas before, it's just like, how do we do this month? How
Yeah.
do we do that month?
Well, the mind is one of the most powerful organ in the
Right.
entire body.
But here we are,
And
polar opposite approaches, and we've come full circle.
Yeah.
We're here, like,
yeah,
um,
you found a way to step into your skin, so to speak. I mean,
yeah,
where I feel like I pushed everything out of my way to get to where I needed to
right,
be. It's just a little
exactly.
different, but yeah,
I was always like, I have to justify this. I need a reason, right?
yeah,
And I'm trying to figure out what that reason is. And I think I found my sweet spot.
for sure.
Like there's a lot of people that outgrew their content creator, but they're not ready for a full agency, and there's nothing to cater the in between. And I sit very comfortably on the in
Yeah.
between.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, you offer everything, which is really nice. Like
Yeah.
for me, I want efficiency. Like
Yeah.
I don't have time to go back and forth and figure things out. I need someone to, like I said, I tell you one thing, you should be able to know what I said
Right.
and replicate it.
Right.
If I have to sit there and basically tell somebody how to do their job, I don't want, you're making, I can do it for you. You're making this
Exactly.
harder for me. And I'll step away.
And you don't know what you don't know. So
That is also
you
true.
think you know what you want.
Yeah.
And if you tell me what you want and I execute it perfectly, but it's not what you need,
Right.
it
Agreed.
doesn't
Me and
matter.
you, I think we go back and forth. I show you videos of what I want, and
Right.
I'll go back. Okay, this is how are my photos, and you have to be, but you have to be able to communicate that with anybody.
Right.
Again, even so, that's a big skill I had to learn in business, the ability to communicate.
Yes.
Oh my God, even when it comes to staff, like I hate to say this, I'm a woman. I can get emotional, right?
Sure.
Sometimes you really do have to tone that down, stop,
Right.
and think. Think about the words that are going to come out of your mouth,
Right.
and then execute accordingly.
Yeah. And
And
if that means stepping away, you
that
do what
might,
you need to
yeah,
do.
yeah. I've
'Cause-
learned to say, why don't we address this at a different time
Right.
to control what I'm about to say or not say.
Yeah.
I've also learned how to be descriptive and say, okay, this is what needs to get done,
Yeah.
X, Y, and Z. This is what didn't get done.
Right.
What can we do to manage? You know?
Exactly. And
But that works with everything. Like,
it works with everything. Yeah.
yeah, not just your staff, but again, communicating with you,
Well,
communicating with my labs.
Right.
I mean, I had to learn how to communicate in
And
a society that does not know how to communicate anymore.
exactly. And to that point exactly, like I've got people, for the most part, I'm still doing 95% of the work that I put out, okay? But you've got people, a lot of the people when I used to do logos and stuff in the beginning, when I used to just do that, they all tended to like go online and use a cheap service
Mm-hmm.
and be disappointed. And then they would come to me and they'd sit here and watch it. We'd sit for an hour and they're like, that's amazing, blah, blah, blah. It's incredible. That's not to say that those online services are bad, because if I were to subcontract something to one of them, if I'm behind or something, I guarantee you it's going to come out right, because I know what to describe and how to describe it. You know what I mean?
You don't know. And I don't know how to do that.
And that's when I started realizing that, like, okay, my power is not necessarily that I'm doing all the work. It's that I know what needs to be done.
For sure. I
Yeah.
agree. It's a little different in my field, though,
It is. Yeah.
which also, again, it makes it hard. It
Right.
makes it hard to juggle when everybody wants like your particular craft,
Yeah.
or maybe it's just your energy. So some people can say that I might calm them down. Some people might say I make them nervous.
Right.
It all kind of depends.
It just depends, and sometimes it's not. It's emotional, right?
Yeah.
So sometimes it's not something you did or didn't do. It's just
100%.
you are what you are, and they are what they are.
Exactly.
But in your field though, sometimes it's not. It's not all about getting everything off your plate. It's like, can you just, if I'm gonna have you look at this, I know you're gonna catch the things that I would have. Maybe I'm still gonna do the treatment, but it's nice to know that, like, yeah, we're on the same page. Like, hey, you caught that too. You know what I mean? And that's not right or wrong. That's just the way that you design your practice, the way that you want to run, and people decide if they like that or not.
My associate, I would say, compliments me. She's
Yes.
a little bit more, I feel like I'm a little more intense. I could be, at least. Let's just say it for how it is. Say how it is. She's very warm, very nurturing,
Yeah.
super calm, and like I love it. She's just, the way that she is with patients is amazing. And like I said, I think we complement each other.
It's a good balance.
It is a good balance.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
Some people might prefer one over the other, and
that's fine.
we work
Yeah.
well together. So
Right.
that's what matters. Even the staff, finding somebody that fits. I always, even when it comes to like hiring, tell the girls, I don't hire based off skill. I can teach anybody skill.
Right.
I hire based off personality.
I remember when
Yeah.
you were saying that,
And I do.
It's so true.
hmm
It's
I had a girl come in. She had the best resume. She was very good with patients. She didn't fit. I said, no, sorry, it's not working for me.
that applies to a lot. I know I keep going back to my career because it's very relevant.
No, yeah.
But I remember, like, that
story.
first year, I was always a really smart kid. Calculus gave me a run for my money. That's when I stopped loving math, and
I love calculus. I love physics, actually. Love physics.
I loved physics until it was calculus-based physics. It just, and I think part of it was just that I was torn, right? I had one foot in one bucket, so I wasn't like applying myself, and it was like, I remember there was a differential equations class. Like, I was grade A flunking that thing. Like, I mean, like in the 20%, and I'm day before the final exam. I go up to the teacher and I'm just like, listen, I am going to fail your class no matter what happens on this final exam. Is there anything you're willing to do for me? And he said, study your ass off. Whatever you score on the final exam, that's your grade for the class. get an A on the final exam. I get an A in differential
Wow.
equations. I don't know shit from shit about differential equations, but you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it just kind of goes back to like that imposter syndrome, right? Like in my mind, because of my performance, the way I'm judging myself now, I'm not good enough.
Yeah.
So I'm sitting there at the end of my first year review, telling my manager that, listen, I'm not that strong at coding. These guys are writing all this, blah, blah, blah. And he literally said, do you think that I care that you're not the best coder on my team? He said, you're literally the only person on my team that walks over and has a conversation with someone. I was the only social engineer.
Isn't that crazy?
And then I was just like, it made me feel a little bit better, just a little bit. You know, I still, it didn't, but to your point, like skill can be taught, personality can't,
Agreed.
you know?
You should call this podcast Imposter Syndrome.
Imposter syndrome. This episode is going to be called Imposter syndrome.
You should call it Imposter Syndrome.
I purposely had like 2 ideas in my head about what I want to talk to you about on this, but I told myself I'm going to just kick it off and let it go where it needs to go, and I'm really happy with where it went.
Good.
Yeah, I'm really happy we kind of talked about the business side of things.
Like I said, you know, my sister's an attorney.
Yeah.
And she always tells me, like, I could never do what you do. I never want to have my own firm.
Yeah.
What the heck they call it. But I looked at her and I said, why? Why do you want to work for somebody? What are you stupid? Like, I could never let anybody tell me how to work. And she's like, you work all the time. And I said, yeah, but I like it. It's mine.
Yeah.
It's mine. You know, there's something in that you don't understand until you do it.
Yeah.
And I'm very critical of myself. I think I've told you before. Like I'll take a case that everybody praises me on,
Yeah.
and I will nitpick the shit out of it.
Sure.
And I'm like, well, why didn't I see that? And how
Right.
come I didn't do? But now the next case,
You're looking for it.
I'm looking for it, right?
Yeah. I've changed the set 3 times for the last 3 people.
Yeah, and you're gonna continue to do so.
And what did you
until it's
say? You're like, I
perfect.
didn't even notice
I
that.
didn't notice it. I was like, I thought it looked great.
Yeah.
But again, that's what makes you great.
Right.
And I think that's what makes me great. Truth, totally honest. You know, I've had cases and I look back, I'm like, damn man, why didn't I see that? What's wrong with me?
Right.
And that's where dentistry really is determined by experience.
Yeah.
And I think that my happiness came after I had enough experience under my belt.
Right. And so to piggyback off of what you said, I think a lot of it has to do with pride. Like sometimes you do something that maybe in the long term really had no impact,
Right.
but it made you proud of your work, and that made you a better dentist
Yeah.
tomorrow.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And being self-aware, we've become a society, I feel, that can't just be self-aware. I tell my daughter this a lot, and I said there's 2 types of people that look into a mirror, others that look into a window.
Yeah.
Don't look into a window. Look at yourself first.
Right.
And then she's only 5, but hey, she got something out of it. She
Right.
knows what I'm saying when I say that to her.
Yeah.
I hope. But
We'll
I
find
look
out in
in
20 years.
I really do. I really do. I'm very critical of myself. And if there's something that happens, I want to know, even, and this is in all aspects of my life. Was it me? Did I, and sometimes, you know, you make mistakes.
Sure.
For sure. It's how you grow. It's how you build character. And there's always something to improve
Sure.
in every aspect of life. And then that's something that I think, again, makes me better at what I do.
Yeah.
Every single day.
But it's a fine line though for personalities like ours, because sometimes sometimes you weaponize that criticality against yourself.
Yeah.
Does
All
more
the
harm
time.
than good.
I know.
And that goes into one of the things I want to talk about. Nobody talks about the mental health aspect of being an entrepreneur. And, you know, it's different for everybody, right? Like,
Yeah.
you know, when people think mental health, they might think something, but it could be what you want as a mother versus what you can do. You know, that's mental health in my opinion.
Yeah,
You know,
right.
it's affecting the way that you're doing.
I
But
almost resented. So let me take this back. My how can I say this? When I first started, I was probably, let's say the first 1 to 2 years, I was at the lowest point in my life mentally.
sure.
I've never, ever. A lot of people don't. There's like a select few people that actually knew how bad it was. Like, I talked about it in one of my posts where it would be like Friday, and I would get off of work, and by Friday night, we're out to eat, and I'm just having a panic attack because
Yeah.
Monday's coming, and I
Right.
have to go back to work.
I know that feeling.
And it was and I just worked 8 years to be here, and everybody told me I was gonna be so happy, and I was miserable. I hated it. And my friends, so I went to school in Chicago. All my friends scattered, went back to where they all lived, and I felt alone because I came back, and none of my friends really had kind of, careers that I
Sure.
did, and I couldn't talk to anybody about it because nobody understood. They just looked at me like, "But you're a dentist." I'm like, "Okay, but I'm not happy."
Right.
I don't even know. This is gonna get a little dark. You can take this out if you want to, but there was a point where I was just like, man, and I wouldn't say I was like suicidal, but I used to think like, if I got into a car accident right now, I swear I think I wouldn't.
Right.
Like, I'm fine.
Yeah.
Like, that's how low it was. I didn't think I was ever gonna get out. I thought this is my, and I tell my husband, he's like, everybody's miserable with their jobs. It's how you gotta learn how to accept it. That's what he used to tell me all the
Yeah.
time. And then I'm like, but I'm not one that just accepts this. Like I
Right.
can't. And so I left. I left the job. I was a little happier. I was in private practice now.
Yeah.
But still, it's a cutthroat business. People don't know a lot
Sure.
about the political side of things, right?
Course.
I had doctors that would take things off my schedule because their schedule was slow. I had days where I used to go in, and if patients canceled, I made nothing, and I had to pay a nanny to be at my house, and I was
Right.
it wasn't worth it. Like I was like, why am I here?
Yeah.
And then talk about the crippling debt, okay, that
Sure.
comes with dentistry. That again, everybody told me it's just a payment. Everybody pays off their loans. It's going to be easy. It's not a big deal. No, it's more than my mortgage. It's expensive,
Right.
And then you're leaving, and there's just no satisfaction in the jobs that I had at the time. Um, had my kid, I experienced pretty bad postpartum, and that was hard for me. I didn't go back to work. I said, "You know what? No, I can't be unhappy like this all the time.
Right.
This can't be it for me."
Yeah.
I left. I thought I applied to residencies. I had interviews at all the schools for I think it was the pediatric residency in Michigan, and the one in Detroit. Last second. I ended up reaching out to a doctor and I asked her, "Hey, what's your exit plan? Do you have one?" And then we met for coffee, and then I bought her practice. Like it was just, I
Isn't that
told you, like
wild?
it's wild. I don't know how it happened. And it's funny because I used to always drive by her practice, and I say, I wonder who she is. Like I wonder if she'd ever sell me her practice. I didn't even know
Yeah.
who she was. Never met
That's
her.
crazy.
Yeah, and that's how it all went down. Now I'm in one of the best like mental states I've ever had. Now
Yeah.
I work more than I ever have.
Yeah.
I am exhausted, I'm stretched thin, but I have purpose and I feel fulfilled, and
Yeah.
I feel like I'm finally on the right path.
And I'm happy you said that because I think a lot of it stems from when people say like, "Oh, you'll do this, it'll be fine, it'll be." That's the way that they think, and they would be fine in that situation.
But they're
But
only seeing things from the outside.
from the outside, but even so, like
Yeah.
there could be a dentist that would have been in that same situation as you and be totally fine with it.
100%.
And they were going to tell you, "Oh, this is great."
Yeah.
And then you get into it like, "What is this?" It's like that learning what you want for yourself when we're conditioned
Yeah.
on, what to learn. Cause that's how I was. Like I'll give you an example. Like, my parents were against me quitting my job. Like,
I'm sure.
because they're a product of their experience, right? They come to this country, immigrants,
Right.
bust their ass, right? So here I am making $1.50 a year, and like it doesn't make sense
Mhm.
that you would walk away from that. But like I was waking up, like you said, like miserable, like
Miserable.
Friday,
I am not an
dreading
anxious
Monday.
person, and
Yeah.
I felt like I was battling the worst anxiety. But we're trained, I feel like, to just take a pill and move on.
Right.
And I'm like, no, this isn't right. This isn't how it should be.
No,
I
it's not.
shouldn't be struggling like this.
And you see everything through the lens of what you're feeling.
Yeah.
So if you're negative at work, you come home,
Everything.
you're negative at home.
Yeah.
You're it's just
Yeah.
that's all it is.
It's
You
all
know
I
what I
think
mean?
about. It was consuming. It's just
Yeah.
all day long. I used to be like, oh my God, I have to go back to work. And it's crazy because after I posted this like video, I was in Miami for like a seminar.
Yeah.
I posted it. Do you know how many people message? I thought this was a 5-minute long video. I was like, nobody's gonna listen to this. I was telling my husband, oh my God, I'm gonna post this. It's so embarrassing. I'm gonna post it anyway, whatever. And it ended up getting like 500 likes, and people were messaging me nonstop. Like I thought I was the only one. Oh my
Yeah.
God, what do I do? Like you inspired me, and I'm like, I'm not even trying to be
Right.
inspiring at this point. I'm telling you just my truth.
You're just telling your truth.
Yeah, but nobody talks about it.
Yeah.
Nobody talks about this side of
But
all careers.
it goes to the point. The reason that resonated is because no one talks about it, they all felt alone.
Yeah,
They
I
felt,
felt
this is
so
just
alone and
me.
vulnerable.
Right.
Very
But then
vulnerable.
when this is gonna sound weird, but because I've had health challenges, I've had all kinds of things, and you're just like, this is just me. This is what I did. This is just me. No one can relate. And then all of a sudden, like, you find somebody else that you wouldn't even guess dealing with the same thing or something similar, and nothing changed about the situation,
No,
but
but
you
you're
feel better
coping
because you're
well.
not alone
Yeah,
anymore,
correct.
right? It's not just me.
Mhm.
So, yeah, and like you said, that applies to the business, to life, to
Mhm.
to everything. So to your point, yes.
Yeah.
Do I work way harder? Yes. Do I work way more? Yes. Am I
Sure.
happier? Yeah,
Yeah,
I am.
I am. I could never imagine. I tell anybody, like, I can, but again, it's all your personality. Like I said,
Right.
my sister maybe won't necessarily want to be her own boss. She
And that's
likes
not
that.
wrong,
It's just no, it's not wrong at all.
Yeah.
She's like, I just don't want the responsibility. I don't care. I just I gotta do my job. I'm gonna go home.
Yeah.
And I actually envy that a little bit. Like I wish I could just do my job and go home. Like I
I
wish I
did it.
had that in me.
Yeah.
I don't.
I did it. A
Yeah.
lot of people don't know this, but 1289 wasn't the first time I started a company. You know, I
Well,
had a different company called Vivid, which now my
I
brother's named
remember
Vivid.
Vivid. Yeah,
Yeah.
I remember Vivid.
And, I was just at the point where people
Yeah.
were just greasing me left and right. I'm charging $300 for a website, working 3 months on it, and I hated it.
Yeah.
So what ended up happening is I shut it down and I said, you know what, I'm going to go back to just being an engineer, and 5 o'clock, I'm done. And you know what? In the beginning, it was great. And then it started resurfacing, that itch.
Yeah.
It came back. So I told myself, I was like, you know what? You now have lessons learned.
Yeah.
Why don't we try this again,
Yeah.
but not make the same mistakes we made?
You learn through experience.
Yeah,
You learn from mistakes. You don't learn from your successes. You
right.
learn from your
You learn from
failures.
your mistakes.
You do.
Yeah,
And now you know how to tackle things.
yeah,
Even when it comes to simple verbiage, like how am I going to handle this, or pricing? Money is always
of course.
it's such an awkward conversation. And a lot of your clients are your friends, which makes things even
It
harder.
makes it
But
even harder.
business is business, and
Yeah,
people do need to understand that there is value to what you bring.
right.
And if that cost does not work within your budget, I totally understand. But then we have to make some.
That's how it's become largely, because I'm a very non-confrontational person. I hate
I
negotiation.
hate
If
negotiations.
I have to go against the bully, like, I'm getting greased.
I'm like, how much do you want? Okay.
Right? Yeah. How much would you like me to do this
Yeah,
for?
yeah.
But that, and I always tell people, like, I'm a crappy salesperson, but then they always like, no, you're actually really good. Like, you hold yourself well, you're composed.
Yeah, you
Again, it's
do.
that. Thank you. Um,
But
but
you're not trying to sell, you're informing.
exactly.
Right.
But I don't really have those conversations about price anymore. It's kind of like, because I think people see the value in it.
Yeah.
So for me, if, like, you try to beat up my price, you're insulting me. If you say, hey man, I know what you do is good, it just doesn't make sense for me right now, I have respect for you.
I am with you. I'm 100% with you. And honestly, I've had patients that come to me and say, like, I really would love to see you. Unfortunately, right now it's not in my budget.
Right.
Honestly, I make it work. I'll figure it out. But I'm payment plan. What can I do for you?
Right.
I don't want you to ever not to get good care, or the care that you would like, because of finances.
Right.
I'm an understanding woman too.
Yeah.
But again, it all depends.
Right.
If you're going to belittle me and say, what do you mean? I mean, I had a patient call and was like, I want to have a consultation with Dr. Karmo for cosmetic bonding. And then it's like, okay, does she charge a consult fee? I mean, yeah, it's my time, it's my
Sure.
staff, I have overhead. And I mean, I think my front desk basically just said, well, there is a fee, and just hung up.
Yeah.
It's wild to me.
Right.
If I were to meet with an attorney, even if he doesn't take my case,
Right.
he's going to charge me to
Yeah.
to see him, right? If I go to my doctors to ask him a question, I charge something for it. It's just,
Yeah.
this is life. I don't know.
Right.
People don't see the value.
It. I don't. We're literally, like, in sync right now, because everything I want to say, you're bringing it up. But there was two really important lessons that I learned, because a lot of times it's my friends that supported me, and even the people, even not friends, right? In the beginning, like, I can't sustain what I was charging back then, because what I'm doing right now is not reflective of it. But you always, it's uncomfortable, right? Like,
It
how am I
is
going to raise the
uncomfortable.
price on this? But there was friends that literally told me that, like, that's a non-issue. I was negotiating against myself in my mind because I was uncomfortable. But what I realized, it wasn't an issue because they saw the value.
Correct.
And then the second time, I was sitting with a client who was just negotiating before I even gave a price. Sometimes I do that, right? It's one of the things that they're like, so you're gonna give me a discount. I'm like, I haven't even given you a price. You're already trying to negotiate just to make them feel like, how silly was it? But what I realized was that, this person was trying to negotiate me on, it was a few $100 job. It's nothing that I would even do anymore.
Yeah.
But there was like a $1,500 leather, like Shinola laptop bag sitting there, that he had,
He found
right.
value in it.
So that's what I realized. I'm like, this is not an issue about him not being able to spend money.
Correct.
This is an issue about him not seeing the value in what I do. It is not my price to convince you that I'm valued.
I don't even have the time to convince you.
Yeah. And I used to feel like I needed to, right?
No.
This is why I charge this much. No, I should convince you that I'm the right solution to your problem.
Correct.
Not that I'm the right price point for, you don't dictate my price point, just like I don't dictate yours.
And here's the thing. If you have a price point and that's what's driving you, then I'm sure you'll find somebody within that price point.
Right.
If that's all you care about.
Exactly. And then you'll hire me later.
Exactly. And then it's going to cost more money.
Often.
For sure. I'm with you. I'm with you.
And this is just something that came up. Like, this is really not as much of an issue as it used to be.
No.
But it used to be very frustrating to the point where, like, wow, this client called me. I'm so excited. Oh, shit. We have to deal with the numbers.
Yeah.
And a lot of times I would do something terrible, start the work without giving a number. That used to make for an awkward.
Right. I step away. Honestly, I just have I have Miranda or Ree. They're the two financial coordinators at the office.
Delegation.
I do. I'm like, it's not my place. And honestly, I don't know. I'm not here to talk finances with you. I will.
Right.
There's a will. There's a way. You handle. If it matters to you, I'm here.
Right.
If this is too much for me, I understand that too. We all have bills. I get it.
Yeah.
I totally get it. Things matter to me that may not matter to you.
Right.
And I'll spend on it, and vice versa.
Exactly. Right.
If you want to get a nice car, I'm gonna think that's not really that worth it to me.
Right. There's a lot of people like, it's just like A to B. There's other people that are like, okay, I'm in this position. I'm charging this much money. I should show up, reflective of that position. Those people are like, oh, I don't want a nice car because I don't want people to know I got money.
100%.
And and none of it's right or wrong.
No, it's just everybody's different.
Right.
And you have to accept everybody for who they are. Really, I mean, that's what I'm saying. I understand if the cost of anything, any of my services that are too much for you, whether it's like I said, some people value that. They value what I have to bring, and they do their, and if it's out of their budget, I understand that too.
Yeah.
They'll make it work.
Right.
And if they can't and they don't want to, I get that too.
Yeah.
Like I just again, what do you value? Everybody values something a little different.
Right. So what's next? What's next
This
for
is
you?
great, honestly.
I love this.
I liked it. Next in what regard?
What's next for Karmo Dental? What's next for Natalia?
My lips are sealed on that one.
Oh, okay. That means there's something.
Fun things coming soon.
That's exciting.
Yeah, no, it's been a while. We just hit 1 year in the new office.
I saw that.
And
Congratulations.
that's been awesome. I can't believe it's been a year. Thank you. I mean, I was 9 months pregnant when we found. Well, I'll give you a little bit backstory. My husband calls me one day, and at the time, I just found out that the woman I bought my practice from, the doctor I bought my practice from, was retiring.
Yeah.
I was 8 months pregnant at the time. And she was supposed to cover my maternity leave, but then she had to go to Chicago and she wasn't able to do it anymore. So I was like bummed beyond measure and stressed with that. And then my husband calls me. He's like, hey, there's this building. I want you to look at it. I don't even think it's available, but let's just go see it. It used to be a dental office. And I was like, are you stupid? Like, can you just leave me alone? I was like, I'm so overwhelmed. My schedule was like crazy. And he's like, let's just go. And he's a very persistent guy. Finally, I was like, okay, fine. Like, I'll just go my lunch. Let's go. Let's just go.
Yeah.
So we went. The owner of the building walked in, and him and I just started chatting. And he's like, well, I really like you. And this used to be a dental office, and it's always been a dental office. And it was his office before. He's an orthodontist.
Okay.
And he's like, I would love for it to be yours. So you got 24 hours. Let me know.
Wow.
Because he was about to submit like a signature for somebody else had already obtained an LOI on it. So
it was fair.
Yeah.
It's not a threat.
No. He's like, I won't send it back, but you just have to let me know because they've been waiting for me.
Yeah.
And I went home and I'm like, I don't know. Like, I don't know. She's leaving. Like, to tell my patients, like, hey, doctor's gone and I'm moving. They're going to leave. Like, that's the big, patients don't like change
Right.
at all. And I was more afraid of losing patients with the move than I was with losing the doctor. And I said, you know what? It's no risk, no reward.
Yeah.
It's great size. Everything I ever wanted, by the way. Like I told him, I want windows, I want front door, I want signage, I want easy in and out. I wanted my own, like my own building.
Yeah.
So I gave birth in October. Demo started in November. Everything was done by May. Move in June.
That's wild.
It was, nobody knew about it either. I was terrified to tell anybody. I didn't tell my staff
Yeah.
until like a month or two before.
Right.
And they were like, wait, what? Like, what? It was super challenging. And I didn't have a designer. My husband's my CPA. So remember that. I had to make sure everything was on budget.
Sure.
But still, I spent where, again, I valued more the equipment and all of the other stuff. I said, you know what? I don't really need anybody to kind of tell me what colors to pick. I can figure it out.
Sure.
And a little, little bit at a time. We did. So I picked out I was literally like, I would work, I would leave, pick out the top or like the countertops. I'd work, I would leave. I'm on the phone with, Henry Schein or and it was just nonstop. Like,
Yeah.
oh, this whole thing. I think I went through like 5 or 6 layouts before I finished. Like, I was like, nope, move this, do this, change this.
Yeah.
And then, but we got it done and it's been a wild ride. And so, yeah, I don't know. It's crazy. I loved it.
Yeah.
Like I can't be bored anymore.
Right.
I find another project for myself. I don't know.
I'm very excited to see where you go from here. I'm very excited to move forward with you.
I'm excited too.
And I know we're going to continue to do great work together.
We are.
I'm really happy you're on the show. Thank you.
Me too.
Thanks for doing it.
Of course.